and welcome back to the NWA 1983 project. I'm your host, Juan Cena, and with me, as always, is Matt Riley. How you doing tonight, Matt?
I'm super duper.
All right, I dig that. So today's episode will take place live from the Mid-South Coliseum in palatial Memphis, Tennessee. The main event for this evening will be Jerry the King Lawler taking on Harley Race for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. In addition, we're going to see Bruiser Brody taking on Dutch Mantell for the NWA Southern Heavyweight Championship. So those should be fantastic matches. As a side note, as a personal note, I didn't get an opportunity to watch Memphis wrestling live, right? In their prime. I saw lots of the, USWA. And, for the most part, that wasn't the greatest wrestling that was out there. Talking about, 89, 90, 91.
Oh, yeah.
It was past their heyday. Like, their heyday was from 74 to maybe 85 or 86, up to 88, I guess. You could probably make an argument up until 88. By the time they get into 89, it was, I wasn't fortunate enough to watch it live. I had to go back and watch it, either on YouTube or my personal tape collection or what have you. And I have watched, all of 1983, all of 1982, Memphis stuff. But, there's a lot of people out there who know a hell of a lot more about Memphis wrestling than me. That being said, there is a new podcast by Scott Bowden, Kentucky Fried Wrestling Podcast, which is fantastic. They're on the second episode. And, this week they were talking about Jerry Lawler's quest for the World Heavyweight Championship. And it was a great show. It was fantastic. And I have to give credit to not only Jerry Lawler, but the fans of Memphis for sticking with Lawler forever, essentially, even though he never really won that world championship. Now, he did win it from Kurt Hennig, and that was the AWA championship, but I believe that was 1988 when he won it. And AWA wasn't what it once was. Memphis was still, it was hanging on, but it was still, it was still okay. But Lawler never beat Harley Race for the championship, never beat Jack Briscoe for the championship, never beat Ric Flair for the championship, never beat Nick Bockwinkel for the championship. So that's a little rough. He should have. He probably should have won it in 83. But are you taking the belt off of Harley Race? Are you taking the belt off of Ric Flair for an extended period of time? And I don't think a Tommy Rich, 1 week title run would have done them any favors. They needed at least a year where Lawler toured with the championship and you were able to bring back clips from wherever he was, around the country. And if you needed a top lead babyface, there was Dutch Mantell there and Bill Dundee that could have carried the load while, Jerry was out defending the championship, around the world. So it got me thinking about what are some of the missed opportunities on guys where they should have put the belt on someone, but for whatever reason they didn't, kind of dropped the ball. And I think the first one that really comes to mind is Hulk Hogan, 1983, April of 83, not beating Nick Bockwinkel for the AWA World Championship. And that was disastrous for the AWA.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just been informed by the referee that President Blackburn is of the opinion that Hulk Hogan threw Nick Bockwinkel over the top rope. Because of that, the Hulk is disqualified, and the belt remains with Nick Bockwinkel.
And it was Blackburn, the president of the AWA, who made the determination that Hogan had flipped Bockwinkel over the top rope and thus is disqualified, and he does not get the championship.
Yes, they were able to still draw because they were able to bring the Road Warriors right after Hogan left. So it kind of plugged the hole in the dam for a little bit. But that really hurt them. They had raised ticket prices for that. They did a lot of things where it was like looking like Hogan was going to win the belt. And now they go back. The Guardians went back and said, eventually Hogan was going to get it, but they were trying to get, more interest in trying to, like, you already had a sellout. It's like, right. I know there's always a big thing on the return. We got to bring it back.
Is the world's heavyweight champion. Over 28,000 people in St. Paul, Minnesota, a week ago certainly agreed with that consensus opinion. You've got to be heartbroken, disappointed. I don't know if words mean a whole lot at this point, but Hulk Hogan, you've had a week to think about all of this. Where are we at?
You know something, Mean Gene? Just like my main man B.B. King said, every day I got the blues. Well, you know something? I feel really bad right now, Mean Gene. 3 times out. I stepped in the center of the ring and proved myself a better man. This last time, all I did was go to my people. I said, stand behind me one more time. That's all I need. Just one more time, get behind me, and I'll bring it home. Yes, I did beat the man in the center of the ring. Yes, I did. Prove I'm the superior being. But that's not enough, Mean Gene.
That is not enough. Hulk Hogan, Stanley Blackburn overruling Lord James Blears. You had the belt. The fans went absolutely, totally crazy. And Hulk, I know this is tough for you to live with.
You know something, Mean Gene? I had the belt in my hand. They gave the thing to me. And then Stanley Blackburn took it upon himself to make the decision to steal the belt from me. It was like in the center of the arena in Rome when Caesar put his thumb down. I heard 20-some thousand people boo. I felt the pain run through my body for everybody in there. It's like when I was a little pup, Mean Gene. I lost somebody in my family very close to me. That's the same feeling I have now. I cannot live with it anymore.
You say you cannot live with it. Can you be more specific, Hulk Hogan?
I'm going to get real specific, Mean Gene. Time and time again, everybody knows the Hulkster never tells a lie. I came out here, gave it my all. Every move, 100% dedication. And you know something? I feel that I beat Nick Bockwinkel, but that is not enough. I let my people down, the people that stood behind me from day one. So I'm going to take it upon myself now, Mean Gene. I'm leaving the AWA for good. I don't deserve to wrestle here anymore.
Hulk Hogan, do you have any idea what you are saying? Ladies and gentlemen, I am in shock. Hulk Hogan stating he is leaving the AWA. He doesn't deserve to wrestle here any longer. Hopefully we'll have more on that next weekend. Have a good one. So long. Some kind of a match indeed. Bobby Heenan and Nick Bockwinkel, as I privately told Hulk Hogan, perhaps the darkest time is just before dawn. What a big match. Very controversial in the opinion of many.
My entire career, one of the most frequent questions asked is, what was your toughest match? And until recently, there were several. But I can stand here unequivocally and tell the entire sports world that the match you just witnessed was my toughest. I felt like I was knocked out a couple of different times, only to come back from the stars and the blurriness. But I want you to know one thing. If Hulk Hogan, because you have left, you felt you humiliated yourself, you failed to get the job done, that's right. Because you did not get the job done. You knew you were going down when I had the sleeper, and you intentionally, right in front of 28,000 people in Stanley Blackburn, threw me over the top rope so you would not lose face. And you have now picked up your marbles and you have gone home.
You know, he makes a big speech. I'm never going to wrestle here again. I'm this, I'm that. No one knows where he is. They can't find him. Right now, his mother's probably on her hands and knees trying to coax him out from under the bed. Floor's all wet from tears. He doesn't answer the phone. No mail to his home. No one can find him. He's hiding. Well, I don't blame you for hiding, Hogan. You were embarrassed. You came out there and gave 200%. You hit this man with everything you had, and you still did not leave the ring the champion of the world, and you never will, Hogan. You did the best thing you could have done was take off and hide, and I'm glad, and I'm going to speak for the family. I am personally glad we've seen the last of the incredible Hulk Hogan.
Well, let me tell all the fine wrestling fans one last word. Hogan, I do now know something. Having gone through hell and the toughest match of my career with you, considered the most promising man in the world in this sport, I now know how to beat you. And if I ever get my hands on you again, if you think you were humiliated before because of what you failed to accomplish, you will be humiliated even more. Because I will take and accomplish the one thing that nobody else has done. I will defeat you, pin you, and beat you.
You better stay hiding, Hogan.
I thank you very much, gentlemen. Bobby Heenan, Nick Bockwinkel. A lot of talk over the past few weeks regarding the incredible Hulk Hogan.
You mean incredible Sulk Hogan. You see, what happens is the man failed to get the job done. Now, you can put it any way you want. His explosive makeup, you know what he is. He cannot control himself. He blew it. He blew it completely. He couldn't get the job done. So what's he? Is he at home now? Mommy's fixing bacon and eggs.
Well, you know what amazes me?
Crying and
He comes
whining.
into the ring with a shirt that says, "We want the belt." He's talking about Hulkamania. I'm going to do this for the people. I'm going to win the championship for the people. Where is he right now? Do his people know where he is? The Incredible Hulk, he's sulking someplace. He's the Incredible Sulk Hogan. He's probably at home in Venice Beach, California, and his mother's back has just gone out trying to get him out from under the bed. He's probably hiding under there, whining and crying. Big 6'8", 380 pounds of him, whining and crying because he didn't get the job done. He didn't let you down or me down. He let you humanoids down, and you're used to being down, so you enjoy it. Hulk Hogan, we've heard the last of you, seen the last of you, and I can breathe a little easier. Wahoo McDaniels goes in the same vein. Him and Von Raschke and everybody else, especially the Indian. It takes the ring post for him to get a victory. He's talking about how he beat the world champion. He wants this and he wants that. Hey, pal, go back and knit some blankets and stay out of our business.
Let me just say one thing. Wahoo McDaniels, since Hulk Hogan, see if you can borrow his crying towel. Because if you can only accomplish a victory by using a ring post, you're a sad representation, not only of your race, of, as far as I'm concerned, the sport of professional wrestling, because you are a total failure.
Blackjack
And
Lanza.
he has no business number one contender. No way. Anyone who breaks the rules like that man does doesn't deserve to be in the ring with a gentleman like Nick Bockwinkel.
Can you picture Hulk Hogan's mom sitting at home with that big 340-pound goon on her lap, and she's patting him on the back while he's whining and crying, and he's talking about Nick Bockwinkel and the championship? I'm not a crier. I'm the first guy to admit if I lose, but he's the biggest crybaby I've ever seen.
I don't know.
Maybe
It
next to
sounds
Wahoo.
very unlikely to me, Bobby Heenan. Blackjack Lanza, Nick Bockwinkel. More action after this. Stay tuned.
Imagine this for a second. What if Hulk Hogan came into the WWF and he beat the Iron Sheik by countout and they tried to bring that shit back instead of having Hogan come in and basically smash the Iron Sheik and win the belt? That would have been disastrous for the WWF. They had enough insight at the time to say, no, we need to get the belt on him now,
Right.
instead of waiting. And I think a lot of promoters throughout history, like, oh no, we're gonna wait and we'll see if we get another sell out of this. But what it does, it takes a lot of the momentum away from some of these guys. Hogan not beating Bockwinkel didn't take a whole lot of momentum, but Hogan, was looking around and was like, hey, I'm going to go to Japan. He got sent to St. Louis for a little bit, and then eventually he's like, I'm going to WWF. And you put these guys in these positions where, like, if Hogan would have stayed in the AWA and not win the belt for another 6 or 8 months, it would have fucking hurt him.
Yeah.
And maybe it wouldn't have been as popular as he became. So, big mistake on their part in terms of AWA. Now, there's other examples of that. Now, I think one of my favorite examples I bring up on the show all the time is Lex Luger not winning the NWA World Championship in 1988 at the Great American Bash.
Yes, I remember.
With that fucking finish where he has him
Baltimore.
he has him up in the rack and he's fucking bleeding and they call it, right?
The doctor is calling for the referee. Or the commissioner is calling for the referee. Luger's won. I don't think that's the case. Here he goes.
In 23 minutes, 45 seconds, and due to the severe lacerations in the forehead of Lex Luger, Supervising Inspector Ray Iannucci and the attending physician, Mr. James Cochran, have stopped the match. The winner and still World Heavyweight Champion, Nature Boy, Ric Flair.
So there it is. You're talking about being shocked. The total package Lex Luger. Over 16,000 fans here thought that it was all over with the human torture rack. But prior to that, it was the blood, the laceration, stopped by the ringside physician and the commissioner.
A lot of pandemonium here, a great deal of confusion. Referee Tommy Young was told to stop the match by the State Athletic Commissioner as appointed by the state of Maryland. The athletic commissioner and the doctor sitting here at ringside, I saw them conversing. They got up and they wanted, and the crowd here quite obviously, very, very distraught. But the commissioner stopped the match up. Luger had it. I thought Luger had the championship definitely in his grasp. A lot of states, they will not stop a match under these circumstances, Tony.
That's right.
In a lot of areas, but in Maryland, the athletic commission is so stringent here that with the blood and Luger busted open, that they had to stop it. That's their state rules as far as our athletic commission is concerned.
So there is the Warrior, seconds away from being the world champion, and all of a sudden, it is over right now.
I think that killed Luger's momentum for a long time. Like, they probably should have put the belt on him in 88. They probably should have built the belt on him in 89. Although, you know, Rick was very busy in 89. And that's probably WCW. That and I like 1984 WCW too, but I think 89 is probably their best year, pre-NWO.
Yeah.
And then it happened to Luger again at SummerSlam 93, where he did not beat Yokozuna. No, he did beat Yokozuna, but he didn't win the belt. And they had like the balloons coming down and the streamers, but he's not the champion.
And look out, here comes Lex Luger! Yoko's at my feet. He is out cold. Come on, Yoko, get up! Yokozuna! Yokozuna's out! Oh, he's on the good ship. Wait a minute, Jim Cornette! Jim Cornette is over on the side! A man that's injured with a bad neck! And he deserves it! Luger's won it! Lex Luger's won the match! Lex Luger has won the match! Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of this bout as a result of a countdown, Lex Luger!
You know, WrestleMania to do it, and then they never actually did it. They gave the belt to Bret Hart instead, which is probably the right decision in hindsight, but it's like that kind of killed off Lex Luger there a little bit. Especially when you had all that hype with the Lex Express and these, you know, he has the American trunks on, and you're really moving forward with this guy, and then you cut his legs out from underneath him. Not necessarily the best move for promotion at all. You don't put that much hype into somebody, and like, yeah. When it comes down to the NWA, Race had that belt on lock for a long time. You know, do his political channels through St. Louis and what have you, and then Flair had the belt for forever, and there was always a lot of guys, you know, on the list that never got opportunities. Now, you know, the Von Erichs were on that list, but Kerry got the belt for a little bit. But I don't think that necessarily helped him all that much because he didn't go around and defend around the world. Right. He lost it in Japan, back to Flair.
Right.
It wasn't. I don't think he made it a month. That wasn't the best. So he always had the Von Erichs trying to get, you know, you had Fritz trying to get one of his boys the championship. You had Ted DiBiase, who probably should have won the belt too at some point. And then you had Jerry Lawler, who all goes back to Lawler. And Lawler didn't have the political connections. Jerry didn't have political connections to get Lawler a run. Essentially dominated by Flair throughout the entire 80s, you know, minus a Dusty Rhodes title run that's very short, very brief, and then a Ronnie Garvin run that was very short and very brief.
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was bad. No, it was bad. They were trying to get the belt off of Flair so Flair could win it back. And they approached, from what I understand, a bunch of guys, and no one wanted to take that one more title run because they saw what happened to Tommy Rich.
Yeah.
So it was like Wyndham turned it down from what I understand. Ricky Morton turned it down from what I understand. But I don't know. It's Ricky Morton. Who knows if that's legitimate or not. He says that Dusty was always trying to break up the Rock and Roll Express, and that's been one of the reasons. And they want to do a hair match, and Ricky's like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing a hair match unless you're going to pay me a ton of money. So they kind of settled with Garvin, but Garvin was over at the time. Remember all the great feuds that Garvin was in at the time.
Yeah.
You know, he would remember the thing in the hotel room, which is one of my favorite things of all time. So Garvin was over. It's the fact he did it in Chicago, and no one gave a shit. Also on that same show, the Road Warriors didn't win the belts.
Yes.
Holy shit, they didn't put the belts on the Road Warriors. And that's another example of, like, you have the Road Warriors, you didn't put the belt on the Road Warriors. Like, what the fuck's the matter with you? I understand they're going back and forth to Japan, and maybe they weren't in the right frame of mind, but fuck. Even the WWF, I understand this. Road Warriors came in the WWF in the summer of 1990.
Yeah.
They didn't win the WWF Tag Team Championships until the summer of 91. They were there for a whole year. And it took a lot of the fucking steam off the Road Warriors. They came in and they feuded with Demolition right off the bat, basically demolished them. And then they weren't doing a whole bunch. They're feuding with Power and Glory, and they're doing six-mans with Demolition and you know, when they had the three-man team and the Road Warriors and the Ultimate Warrior. So it's like, ugh. And this is another prime example. I guess a modern-day example would have been probably Roman Reigns at WrestleMania when Seth Rollins cashed in Money in the Bank. And that probably should have been Roman's time. And I don't know if the current negative reaction to Roman Reigns, it's a couple of different things going on there. Especially that reaction got the Rumble where everyone thought Daniel Bryan was going to come up, but it was Roman Reigns instead. And it's like, but you can't do that. And then Daniel Bryan probably shouldn't have won. He probably should have won the belt before when he won it, and it was a great moment. You know, he's doing the yes with the two belts, and the streamers are coming down. It was a great moment. That was a WrestleMania moment. Fortunately, it was too late for Daniel Bryan because he ended up getting hurt pretty quick after that. And now he's not wrestling, although he's been cleared apparently, and they're not letting him wrestle. So, and I think that it goes back to Lawler. We talk about Matt's favorite pay-per-view, Super Clash.
Well, I did tell you before, I actually paid for Great American Bash 88. So I watched that whole debacle with Luger live. About Super Clash 3 from Chicago with Lee
Marshall?
Yes.
The voice of Tony the Tiger, by the way.
The dulcet tones of Lee Marshall here in Chicago's UIC Pavilion, or the hell it was called. My favorite part of that whole entire show, though, was how much Kerry bled. And the referee kept checking him. And Frank Dusek was the representative, like he was the commissioner or general manager, and he was at ringside.
It wasn't Stanley Blackburn? Because, first of all, fuck Stanley Blackburn right off the bat. I hate fucking Stanley Blackburn.
No, it was Dusek's at ringside, and the ref keeps checking Kerry and, like, stopping the match. And Dusek says, he's fine, he bleeds all the time. Just a terrible line to say. It was awful. It was really, like... That's fantastic.
That show was awful. I think it did 1,600 people.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
In attendance?
Yeah.
So I was like 1/3 their audience?
Yeah, I mean, it's awful.
That's terrible.
I mean, that show had, it had good guys on it. They had the Guerreros taking on Cactus Jack, the Rock and Roll RPMs.
I remember that. I was like, who the hell?
And then they had Eric Embry, Steve Austin's favorite wrestler, who defeated, Jeff Jarrett. Jimmy Valiant, 800-year-old Jimmy Valiant, beat Wayne Bloom, one half of the Beverly Brothers. You had King Parsons, who beat Brickhouse Brown. The Top Guns of Ricky Rice and Derek Dukes and Wendy Richter defeated Bad Company and Medusa with Dallas Page.
Oh, yeah.
Greg Gagne defeated Ron Garvin by countout. That's how the Syrian terrorist defeated Bambi, Peggy Lee Leather, Lori Lynn, Brandy May, Malibu, Nina Pocahontas, and Luna Vachon in a 9-woman lingerie battle royal. Sergeant Slaughter defeated Colonel De Beers in a boot camp match. The Samoan SWAT team defeated Michael P.S. Hayes and Steve Cox. Wahoo McDaniel defeated Manny Fernandez. You had the Lawler and Von Erich debacle.
Yep.
And then the main event, I guess, is the Rock and Roll Express, who fought the stud stable of Robert Fuller and Jimmy Golden to double disqualification. So, yeah. I mean, the USWA pseudo merger would happen a couple years later. USWA essentially is world class and Memphis combined. I guess that's a whole fucking thing.
That Von Erich is in trouble, but in the meantime, Lawler's out. 1, 2, kick out by Jerry Lawler. Whoa!
And never counting out.
And there's the Iron Claw again applied by Kerry Von Erich. Frank Dusek pounding on the side of the ring, exhorting Von Erich on. 1, 2, Lawler gets the shoulder up. And there's Marty Miller still checking the eye of Kerry Von Erich. Marty Miller calling for the bell.
Well, who's got
And Von Erich still got the Iron Claw on him. You can see blood coming out of the mouth of Jerry the King Lawler, out of the eye of Kerry Von Erich. These guys are a mess. Marty Miller trying to explain that Von Erich.
The referee stops the match. The referee stops the match. Kerry Von Erich unable to go on. He cannot perform, cannot see. The referee awards the match to Jerry the King Lawler.
Von Erich asking Frank Dusek, he said, what's the deal? They're going to get both belts. And there's Frank Dusek. He's absolutely livid.
I personally think that Marty Miller done a smart move there. Kerry Von Erich could have serious damage done to that eye, and I think he made a smart move.
Kerry Von Erich has taken both belts. I'm telling you, Von Erich literally took the beating of his life tonight. Marty Miller explaining. Let me ask Marty, is it Von Erich's eye? Marty Miller explaining.
Well, Marty Miller's explaining what happened here now with Jerry Lawler. He stopped it due to that bad cut. I think he made a right decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, the rules simply were no disqualification. There must be a winner. The referee for Kerry Von Erich's own safety stopped the match. The winner, still AWA Heavyweight Champion of the world, WCCW Heavyweight Champion of the world, Jerry the King Lawler. Jerry?
Let me say something. You know, I stood right here and I told you I have all the respect in the world for Kerry Von Erich. He is truly a great wrestler. And what a terrible shame it would be if that man were to lose the sight in his eyes. The referee did the right thing. He saved the man's eyesight, because if he had not stopped that match, I hate to say it, but I would have blinded Kerry Von Erich, I promise you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the heavyweight champion of the world, Jerry the King Lawler.
Because right after this, they stripped Lawler of the belt because Vern didn't give Lawler, I guess, a suitable payday for Superclass because no one made money on it. And Lawler refused to defend the championship. But then they did a battle royal. And I believe crowned Larry Zbyszko as the new champion. So, but Lawler kept the belt and would wear the belt on Memphis TV, and that's, you know, he became the CWA World Champion, I guess, and then became the USWA World Champion later on. So, there's definitely examples of guys who should have gotten runs that didn't, or were on their way to have a run, and then for some reason they got derailed. We got like Sting in 1990. You know, he was set to win it probably in. I don't know if it was going to be at Capital Combat. I want to ask somebody if it was either supposed to be a Capital Combat or Wrestle War Wild thing that he was going to win the belt. But he got hurt, blew out his knee, and wouldn't come back until the summer of 90. And then they had to switch Luger babyface. And then when Sting won the belt, they had no one to feud with because it was supposed to go. It was supposed to go like Sting wins the belt and then feuds with Luger, right? Because Luger's a heel.
Right.
And they turned Luger babyface, but they didn't want to turn him back heel, so they ended up with the Black Scorpion. So,
Black Scorpion.
Yeah, not good, not good. I would have had Flair fight someone else, not Luger. There was guys there in 1990 that could have at least been a suitable opponent for Flair.
Yeah.
Instead of turning Luger babyface at that point. None come to mind off the top of my head, but 1990 was a little rough. I mean, did Flair really want to go have matches with like Junkyard Dog or Paul Orndorff at that point? Probably not.
Yeah.
So it's like, but they could have dug someone up for him to face, for 2 or 3 pay-per-views until they got back to Sting again and they kept Luger. I think they had Luger feud with Stan Hansen after that, which is weird. Stan Hansen actually beat him for the U.S. title. So Matt, do you have any guys who probably should have won a belt at a certain period of time, or guys who didn't get runs who probably deserved it?
Well, I think the counterintuitive thinking is, well, we'll make it build up to a special moment. But I really feel when you only save those moments as big pay-per-views, your fans will eventually figure out that the house shows don't ever have anything happen on them. Whereas there used to be a feel like, and we have exciting news for you fans. Now, what they should never have done is said like what the results were. They just said like, we have a title change happening, or some kind of important news, and something significant happened, and let us as an audience watch and see it unfold.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, that's not how it worked.
They should do more title switches at house shows.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to show us the whole match, but give us a highlight. I mean, they did it recently with AJ Styles and Kevin Owens.
Right.
But they need to do more of those. I would actually go back to taping the house shows again. It gets you brand new content from the network, and it wouldn't be that expensive to do. Just send a fucking camera crew down there, and no pyro, just like old school, like they used to do it on MSG Network, all the fucking, or Nesson.
Nesson, oh yeah.
When they used to have live from Boston Garden or live from the Spectrum. They don't do that shit anymore. So, but they should. They did one a couple years back at MSG, but whatever. Did you hear that they're doing a Raw 25th anniversary next year?
Oh no.
And it's gonna be at the Barclays Center, and they're going back to Manhattan Center.
Really?
Yeah, I tried to get tickets for the Manhattan Center, and it sold out like in 5 minutes. Now tickets are going for about $500 a pop now.
No thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to try. As we get closer to the date, those tickets usually come down when they get desperate. I was ready to drop 200 bones on it, but I'm not spending more to see the Raw at the Hammerstein than I did for WrestleMania. It's just not happening. I'll keep you abreast of that situation. See if I end up getting tickets to go to that show. Like, I don't want to go to Barclays Centers because you know what? Not for nothing. Barclays Center sucks. The new Nassau Coliseum sucks to watch wrestling. The seats are too low to the ground. It hurts my. I'm not even tall, and it hurts my legs. Like they got to be less than. I would say they're 10 inches off the ground. That's so fucking low.
Wow,
and it's ridiculous. So fuck that shit. My wife went to Nassau Coliseum to see. So they went to see Mark Anthony concert, and she had the same complaint that the seats were fucking too low to the ground. So raise those fucking seats at the Nassau Coliseum. So the best place in New York, obviously, is the Garden to watch wrestling,
right?
Because it's easy to get to, and it's the fucking Garden. Did you hear the news this week? I think breaking today that Chris Jericho will be taking on Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom 12.
Yeah, I saw that.
Amazing. That pay-per-view is going to be so good. A must-watch for any real wrestling fan out there. A lot of people are speculating, how was Chris Jericho ever do this? He signed to WWE, and it's like, Chris Jericho makes his own rules. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably not currently signed, right? Other than, making they tried to get in contact with him for TLC, and he couldn't do it. That's probably why. He's doing his Bruise Cruise, which is awesome. Do you hear about that yet, Matt?
A little bit.
So Jericho's putting together a cruise where he's going to have wrestling, rock music on a cruise ship. And he's bringing in a lot of pretty big names to that. Young Bucks are going to be there too. I think that's going to be a fantastic. So you get your wrestling, you get some rock music, and you're on this cruise. That's going to be awesome. If I was a single man, I would go. But I'm a family man, much like Ricky Steamboat. And they would have no interest in going to that. So
why don't you go and help the missus with the dishes? Family man.
Did they not fuck up Ricky Steamboat with that?
Oh, they totally did.
Why can't you just be Ricky Steamboat? Like,
thinking of this, and this is a good point to segue into, because I thought of this in the car while I was sitting in traffic earlier. I was thinking about the show later, and Roman Reigns. I was thinking to myself, they always want to have some kind of transcendental star. But the problem now is you can't have the Hulk Hogan pretty much unless it happens supernaturally, like Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
But you don't have like that anymore because they package everything so much.
Yeah.
Remember the movie Triple X? Not like Triple X movies, but Triple X with Ice Cube, Vin Diesel?
Yeah.
Okay. The open of that movie starts off with like this British secret agent trying to infiltrate this gang, and it's like they're all like punk ravers, and of course he's wearing a tuxedo, so he gets outed and they kill him. And then they bring in this guy Triple X to be like this, he's one of their kind. And that's what I thought about. That's a problem with wrestling now, where they're force feeding you. As soon as fans pick up on who they're force feeding us to like,
they automatically revolt.
Right, they revolt. And what makes me laugh is the ones that they try to piss off and show like not 3MB, but when it was Slater and Rhino, that was kind of funny. But then it kind of got like when your backup quarterback has a 400-yard game, and you're like, oh great, he could be. Oh, he still sucks. That's right, he sucks.
They still got that with like the Fashion Files. Like, it's cute for a couple of weeks, but it's not really gonna go anywhere. But it's halfway decent to have on TV.
Yeah.
I can't really get mad at that. I'm more mad about Jinder Mahal, who, rumor and innuendo, states that he failed the wellness policy.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why they made that impromptu kind of match for SmackDown, where it's AJ Styles facing Jinder Mahal for the belt randomly. So we'll monitor that situation. I don't know if it's true or not, but they did say in Roman Reigns, like, he failed the wellness policy test, and he had to drop the belt. So it's like, I guess when you look at him, like in regular pictures, not in not in the ring, is like, this guy shows all the signs of being on something, but I don't know if he's on anything or not, but he got fucking massive. If he ends up failing this test, what does it show people? It shows their current roster, like, I'm going to get on the gas, because if I get on the fucking gas, I'm going to get this fucking push. I'm going to get the belt.
Right.
And you just proved, I spent a lot of time on the show defending Vince McMahon and his penchant for bodybuilder type wrestlers. And I'm like, it's not necessarily accurate, because for every Dave Bautista, there's a Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Steve Austin, guys who are not that big. But damn, I can't even defend that. It's like, hey, if I'm, it's like, I want this push, I'm just going to gas the gills, and I'll take the push, and if I get busted for wellness policy test, I'm fucking, I get busted. Fuck it, I made my money.
Right.
So, it's like, I hope he's not on the gas. I also hope he loses the belt anyway, because let's end this fucking Jinder Mahal fucking nonsense.
Right.
Sooner rather than later. A bad idea, bad experiment. It's not Jinder's fault. He does okay. Putting him in Nakamura was a mistake. Not building him for at least 3 or 4 months as a legitimate contender hurt him. He loses to Finn Balor. And then 2 weeks later, he wins the belt.
Right.
And it's one thing to do a swerve or have someone come out of nowhere to win the belt, but for fuck's sake, he was the wrong guy. As a heel, that's more of a babyface type thing. You know what I mean? That guy comes out of nowhere and wins the belt. Oh, big surprise.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Right? But for him to win the belt, it was like then are you pandering for for the Indian audience? Which is funny, because the most popular wrestler in India, from what I understand, is Roman Reigns. So it makes no sense. And Jinder's a heel here, but I heard reports that they try to portray him as a babyface in India by changing the commentary. But when you have the Singh brothers interfering in all their matches, people are not dumb; they'll see through it.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, people have the internet, they know. So I don't think it's working like they want it to work. I think the whole thing was ridiculous. I think it was stupid. If you saw this guy, and this guy came in and you're like, oh shit, we're going to fucking push him. You should have pushed him from Jump Street, from like the moment he walked back through the door.
Yeah.
That made no, this makes no sense. And then putting him in here with Brock. Now, if they take the belt off of him and then have the match with Brock, and Brock just murders him, and then, where are they going to go from there?
Well, wouldn't, in theory, if he failed the wellness test, wouldn't it be AJ Styles versus Brock?
I mean, it's a possibility. We got to see where that goes. But they might push it past the pay-per-view because they've done it before. Like, they're not under any obligation to suspend someone right at this moment. You know what I mean? It's not a USDA test, They don't have to get wrestling licenses in most states. I don't think it really fucking matters. They'll just suspend them after the pay-per-view. Because you got to get the match in the ring, brother. We advertise this thing. You have to get in the ring. Even if it's a fucking, 5-minute squash match. Speaking of Survivor Series, this pay-per-view looks like shit on paper.
Yep.
And I'm usually pretty positive. I think 2017 as a whole has been a good year for WWE wrestling in general. There hasn't been a lot of stuff that's completely offensive in here so far this year. But the matches they have so far is Brock Lesnar taking on whoever the WWE champion is, whether it be Jinder Mahal or AJ Styles. Alexa Bliss taking on Natalya. Raw Tag Team Champions Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins taking on the Usos or Chad Gable or Shelton Benjamin. I guess they have a title match coming up. The Miz taking on Baron Corbin. Team Raw of Braun Strowman, Kurt Angle, and 3 others to be determined, taking on Team SmackDown of Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Nakamura, Bobby Roode, and they have one more spot open for someone. Okay. And then we have the women's traditional Survivor Series match, Alicia Fox, Nia Jax, and 3 others. They Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Naomi, Tamia, and Carmella. And then Enzo Amore taking on Kalisto. So they're doing all these inner brand matches, I guess you would call them. It's kind of the theme of this show.
Yeah.
So like you have the Miz taking on Baron Corbin, which can get you in some trouble. And we talk about the Super Bowls of wrestling in the past, where like, it's Bob Backlund versus Harley Race, and it goes to time limit or double DQ or something. Who's taking the falls here? I'm seeing the Miz beat Baron Corbin like right off the bat. I'm not sure about Teams Raw versus SmackDown. Those matches can go either way. I'm thinking Alexa Bliss versus Natalya. Probably should go to Alexa Bliss. And then in terms of the Tag Team Championship matches, I don't see anyone beating Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins at any point for a while. So, again, this card feels very disjointed to me. And it kind of like there's no stank on it. You know what I mean? There's no momentum on it. It just feels like another show. And that's sad for Survivor Series because historically, it's one of the big 4 and it needs to be protected. But it's like having these. I don't think a Brock Lesnar versus Jinder Mahal is going to get you views or anything of any significance on that. So,
what's the chance to try some of the super hot shot? Like, I mean, what is Roman Reigns any chance he's coming back, or is he still like effed up?
He's not on any of the house shows as of this week. They had Triple H replace him in the Shield.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what?
Oh, so it's like, I mean, they're abroad right now. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't see any of these matches having any oomph behind it. I don't see any of these matches doing anything for anyone. Yeah, it just doesn't feel like a good show. It doesn't feel good at all. It just feels.
Yeah.
This is the problem when you have pay-per-views every 3 weeks. I only watch the pay-per-views now, and I'll catch up on Raw. Do highlights or whatever, because it's fucking Raw. It's 3 hours long. The show's too long as it is. So I'm worried about Kurt Angle. I don't see him to get hurt. I don't know why Shane McMahon's in the match. The whole fucking build-up for this is ridiculous and stupid. I mentioned this on prior shows. It's like, who's the heel, who's the baby faces. I don't like Stephanie McMahon's character at all.
Right.
Just because she gets heat, but you never will get a payoff on her anyway. She's not going to take any bumps. So her talking down to Kurt Angle's not going to snap and put her in a fucking ankle lock, right? So she's essentially untouchable, but that heat is the wrong type of heat because you can't get to her unless you have one of the ladies beat her up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because she's not taking an RKO anytime soon. So, and Kurt Angle's an Olympic champion. And you have this woman talking down to him. It's just like it's really, 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 really. Like I saw the segment. I was like, switch the channel.
Right.
And I like Stephanie as a character. I just don't like the way they're writing her right now. I wish she would not be on TV anymore because until they figure out what they're doing with her. But over the years, I think Stephanie McMahon over the years have gotten a raw deal, pardon the pun, in terms of her ability on the microphone and her ability to get heat. But her current character right now is lame. I guess is the word. It's fucking lame. They need to write her better. So I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They're just running around being maniacs on SmackDown, which is good. And shit that I seen this week recently. Yeah. Watching wrestling TV shows, you always pick up on small things, and it really does kind of fill the gaps in from what you understand. So I recently watched the episode of Primetime Wrestling where they had Macho Man Randy Savage's bachelor party.
Oh, God.
So Bobby Heenan throws Randy Savage a bachelor party. This is right before SummerSlam 91. Right?
Okay.
This is the match made in heaven and the match made in hell, right? Yeah. So again, they have like the Bushwhackers there. They have Coco Beware there. Roddy Piper's there. Slick is running around, and they have like all like they go to watch porn, like a stag film, but it's like deers instead of like porn.
Oh,
and they have like weird strippers, and it's it's ridiculous. The thing that I picked up on this time was that so Bobby Heenan is the one throwing this party, right? And I guess there's a guest list. And one of the guys who could not get into the party was Jake the Snake Roberts.
Okay.
Now, they do this whole thing where, like, Jake is pissed that he can't get in the party, blah, 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 right? Now, let's expand this for a moment here. And we did live commentary on this. This is right when Jake the Snake Roberts is training the Ultimate Warrior to confront the Undertaker.
Right.
So he's doing the whole shit where he's burying him in the graveyard. He put him in a casket, and then it ends up with the big turn for Jake, which made no sense because Warrior goes away, so they never really go anywhere with that. So at SummerSlam, Warrior gets fired at the event. On the after party, they do the thing where the Undertaker and Jake Roberts do a run into the reception. So when Elizabeth opens up the present and has a fucking cobra inside, and she gets all scared and shit. But I'm pretty sure this was the missing piece of the puzzle was that Jake Roberts is pissed that he couldn't get into the bachelor party. Yeah. So he tried to ruin the reception. And I'm pretty sure that was what they were trying to imply there. I guess no one, and when you look back, when people recap what happened here, people dismiss it because, again, they watch the pay-per-views and kind of the build, but they don't watch the fucking TV show. Yeah. And that's a little thing. It's like, oh, Jake didn't make it into the bachelor party, and he's pissed. And that whole Jake the Snake Roberts turn was amazing because it started with him being blind with Rick Martel. And
right.
Jake Roberts beat Rick Martel at WrestleMania 7 in the blindfold match. Directly after that is when Earthquake fucking killed Damien.
Oh, the squash.
He sat on him, and then he made Quake burgers out of Damien's dead body and tried to serve them to Jake Roberts. And then, Jake's in a dark place, man. So he turns heel. And it's funny because we forget how long things take from time to time. So Jake does that run-in at SummerSlam, right? And I'm pretty sure he's supposed to feud with Sid or Taker's supposed to feud with Sid, but none of that really kind of happens because it's Sid. He probably went to play softball or something. No, I think he got hurt. He got legitimately. I think he tore a bicep and he got hurt. So that kind of derailed that thing. But the whole Jake Roberts versus Randy Savage plays out over the fall, and we don't get anything from that in terms of a match until this Tuesday in Texas, and that's in November. That's directly after the Survivor Series.
Oh, right. Forgot about that pay-per-view.
That took a long fucking time, 4, 5, 6 months to get to it's a shitty match for two great workers. They've had better matches. Like Saturday Night's Main Event, 1986. And then they had the rematch on Saturday Night's Main Event. And then they do the whole thing where Randy and Liz are like they're coming, like they celebrated in the ring. And the whole feud is amazing. This is when Jake Roberts slaps fucking Elizabeth, and he fucking puts a snake on Randy, and the Cobra bites him and all that shit. But Undertaker makes the save because Randy and Liz are coming through the curtain, and Jake Roberts is going to whack someone in the face with a chair. And Liz is supposed to come out first. So he's about to whack Liz in the head with a chair. But the Undertaker makes a save, and it leads up to their feud for WrestleMania 8. Jake Roberts is gone. Right. But again, I always tell these guys, if you're going to recap feuds, you're going to recap, you have to watch like the TV show. Like I know watching 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, like 16 episodes of Superstars.
Oh boy.
It could be kind of rough, but those shows are actually very consumable because, to be honest, and I don't know, maybe I'm weird, maybe it's just an indictment of modern wrestling. It's like sometimes some of these shows, like nothing happens, just nothing happens, just wrestling, and they're just promoting whatever matches are on the house shows. And then when something does happen, it really, really stands out. So it's like, I understand. I think to be honest, I think they're more consumable than watching a 3-hour Raw. I'd rather watch 3 episodes of Superstars from like 1990 than watching a modern Raw. So it's like, I think overall, when you go back to our initial topics of guys who shouldn't have title runs. I mean, throughout the 80s, because people held the belts for so long, that there's always a ton of guys, whether it be Rick Rude, although he had the belt later on, or Kurt Hennig, yes, he had the AWA championship. But they never had like the WWF championship or NWA championship. Again, those promotions are obviously on a higher level than, say, the AWA in like 1989. Like no one gave a shit, right? Or the WCW International Championship. But there's always a list of guys. Ted DiBiase, Rick Rude, Roddy Piper, Jake Roberts, Scott Hall. Is a guy that never had a run. Those are probably more due to personal demons than anything else, but he never had that run. In today's wrestling, if you're an upper mid-carder, you'll probably get a run with the belt at some point. Depending on how long or how many times, that's going to be up to you. Like, I guess the big joke is, like, Edge won the championship 11 times. It's like, what?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like, some of those meant more than others. Sometimes he just had the belt just to have the belt. Does the 11 times that Edge won the championship mean more than like Terry Funk's one time? Probably not. Or Dory Funk. I mean, it means more than Tommy Rich's fucking title run. Which probably killed Tommy Rich, by the way.
A lot of things killed Tommy Rich, let's face it. Tommy had issues.
Was Tommy that good? Was Tommy Rich that good?
No.
Does any of his shit fucking hold up?
I mean, the thing is, a lot of young guys that come to the sport can have a good look. Like,
did Tommy even have a good look? I mean, he wasn't a bodybuilder. He was a little melty.
Yeah, this is back in the day, so people.
I understand.
But I think, like look at Brock Lesnar. He was so young. Right. Randy Orton, he was really young, but they had a look. They had sustaining. They kept it along. Then you have other guys like Tommy Rich, and it's like, ooh, like it's Jinder Mahal's championship run, and let's say this is his only run, he'll have this for the rest of his life as a calling card.
Yeah.
Featuring any show he's on, featuring former world champion. Go to New Japan and say I beat Nakamura twice. Right?
Yeah.
I wonder if Nakamura thinks about that at night.
No, I don't think he cares.
Do you think Nakamura will be better received if he had better English?
No.
No.
Like, I think he's fine. I think
it's because his mouthpiece stuff he has in his mouth half the time.
Well, there's that. But you got to put him in the ring with guys that can work that style.
Right.
Like he had what I consider, I don't do star ratings, but Sami Zayn versus Nakamura was a 5-star match. Like, it was amazing. And if you put him in there with guys that can't work that style, he's not going to look good. So it's like you're wasting your money with him. And does that make him pseudo one-dimensional? Yeah, I guess. But he needs to have those types of matches to make him successful. And you want guys to get over. That's the idea, is that you want him to have guys to go over, right? You want guys to be popular. You want guys to sell merch. That's kind of the idea. And then if you're not going to do that, then you're wasting his time. You have to book Oscar strong. You know, you have to, because that's like, it's like not booking Goldberg strong.
Right.
Although Oscar can have better matches than Goldberg, but you know, that being said, it's like you have her come in and then all this hype, and she comes in and she's an average wrestler. That doesn't do anything for her. And it goes back to the 50-50 booking where anyone can win at any time. It's like, no, you motherfuckers to go over fucking strong. And that's one of the things they don't do. They don't book guys fucking strong. Like even Braun Strowman, like he's booked the strongest, but would you consider him booked strong?
No, they keep beating him down. Like even the thing that they wanted to really have him be strong. Remember when the Shield reformed for like 2 minutes?
Yeah.
And beat him up?
Yeah.
I didn't get that because if anything, it should have been like him like fending them off by himself.
It's like Bundy, right? King Kong Bundy. Right?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm serious. King Kong Bundy.
Okay.
From the time he walked in the WWF, from the time he fought Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 2, he murdered fucking everyone. Like, he put fucking Andre on the shelf. Like, he was killing everybody. Right?
Oh, Hogan.
They booked him like a fucking monster, and then Hogan slayed the beast. And it took him like a year. Like, I think he came in right before WrestleMania 1. Because he's on that show, and he murders S.T. Jones on that show in like 10 seconds. But no one can get the Bundy until Hogan got the Bundy. Like, no one needed to get the Braun before Lesnar got the Braun. You know what I mean? And they're like, oh, it's the unstoppable force versus the unmovable object type thing. But when you have guys get to him, it's like, what are you doing? Yeah. It makes no sense. And it's like, it's just, there's a lot of things to blame. Number one, having 3 hours for one show is a lot. And so you have to fill time. That's why the roster's so big. You have to fill time, right? That's why you see a lot of shitty shit, right? Because you have to fill time. That's the idea. So you have a 3-hour Raw, you have a 2-hour SmackDown, you have a pay-per-view every 3 weeks. Remember, Vince Russo, quit the WWF because they were adding another show. Because he said it was insane to do. It was insane to do 2 hours of Raw and doing SmackDown. So imagine what they're doing. Imagine having to write that pay-per-view every 3 weeks. You can take the best booker. You can take fucking Eddie Graham, and you can take Bill Watts, and you can take Kevin Sullivan. You can take all the great bookers throughout history. There's no way they could write that show. There ain't no fucking way you can write that show. Like, SmackDown should be an hour and then an hour talking smack. Raw should be 2 hours with 1 hour for 205. Either before or after. It doesn't fucking matter. I think Raw should be an hour, but that's my own personal preference, but, or whatever. People get mad at me when I say Raw should be only be an hour, but look at NXT, man. NXT is like, I can't wait I binge on fucking NXT because it's consumable. Raw is not consumable.
It's too clunky. The 3 hours it doesn't work.
It's disposable because they do shit on the show that don't mean dick. And then you get to see, you get disappointed when you see like main event matches on there. It's like, ugh.
Yep.
You get these 20-minute segments. 20-second, in the ring promo segments that are just drawn on and on because all they're trying to do is fill time, and it doesn't give you a good product. You kind of open the door and it's hard to go back. I understand that. It's like when they can negotiate the next contract for the USA Network. It's like, we want to go back 2 hours, and I'm still curious about the amount of control that the USA Network has over the product because they have mandates, and the WWE seems to listen to whatever their mandates are. So I'm not sure how much power they have. It could be like a TBS type thing, where it's like, no, we want to see so and so on the show. You better put them on the show. So I'm not sure about the amount of power that the USA Network has. Everyone says that, like, eventually Raw and SmackDown go to the network. It's like, no, they're not. Well, they might go to the network, but you always need to have TV on. You need to always have a show somewhere on television. Would it be a local syndication or a cable somewhere? Because how are you going to attract new fans of all your content on the network? You're not.
Right.
You're not going to get the guy who's flipping through channels like, oh, I like wrestling now. So they're always going to have a show. Now, would it be a Superstars type show or a Wrestling Challenge type show with squash matches with them? That's a possibility. But
do you think the rumors of their financial troubles are true?
They don't have financial troubles. They actually had their best quarter ever this quarter.
Really?
Yeah, in the history of the company. So
why are things so shitty? Because doesn't that just people that run it that just fucking throw a guy out there in a fucking cowboy outfit? We don't fucking care.
Yeah, essentially, they can do it. They can have someone take a live shit on TV. People want to watch it, right? It's kind of the idea. They're making money.
Shit.
They're making money in spite of themselves. They're not producing a good product, but they're still making money. It's like McDonald's, right? They have a shitty hamburger, right? No one can tell me that, like, oh, McDonald's makes the best hamburgers. That's just not true. They still sell the most hamburgers.
Right.
So, like we don't have to put on a good product. We're just gonna put on, whatever. But mine's the adverse. It's like if it doesn't really fucking matter, so just have good wrestling.
Yeah.
Like they go out of their way. It seems like they go out of their way to make bad wrestling, and it's like just have good matches.
Yeah.
It's like if it doesn't matter, if your storylines don't mean dick, if the matches don't mean dick, if nothing matters, just have good matches. It doesn't at this point. They'll make money because of the WWE, because of their the licensing agreements with their merchandising. Mattel, the biggest toy company in the world, does their action figures. 2K does their video games, which again is one of the premier sports video game publisher. They have T-shirts. They're making money hand over fist. They have the network, which gets them about
right.
So they have $10, $1.5 million.
Wow.
So they make $15 million a month on the network. So, they're making money, but they're not presenting a good product. So it's weird.
Yeah.
Even Ring of Honor right now is kind of stale. New Japan is great. They're running another show in the United States next year, which is good to see. You have to kind of like that style of wrestling. I mean, I don't think that's for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And the storylines are Japanese orientated, right? So it's like it may not make sense to what you see here in the States. You have the resurgence. Resurgence is poor choice of words. You had the NWA who's trying to make a comeback. Ring of Honor, which I said is currently stale. TNA is going through TNA stuff essentially. You know what I mean? They're just going through their normal rigmarole over there in TNA. MLW is coming on with their second show. There's Championship Wrestling from Hollywood that you can watch. There's definitely alternatives out there that you can watch, and there's definitely good wrestling out there. You just gotta be willing to look for it, which I guess is the difficult part. But it's out there; it exists. I'm curious to see how New Japan, see if they can get a full hold of the United States. You still have Triple H and so there's enough stuff out there to keep you satiated as a wrestling fan. The wrestling audience is smaller, but the wrestling audience that they currently have are spending more money than they ever had before.
Right.
I can't really fault them. They're making money, although like house shows are not selling out. SmackDowns are half empty, and they're still making money, even though they have a bloated roster. They need to release most of the talent that's on there. I said a third, realistically, should be released. There's a lot of guys not doing anything. Like, they just released the guy who won Tough Enough today. So,
yeah,
who gave a shit? That's why I hate that fucking show. I always hated fucking Tough Enough. Hated Diva Church. I hate that fucking shit. If you want to do a Tough Enough type show, why don't you just get the best guys from the independents? Not like schmoes off the street. Because you're taking away opportunities for guys in the independents who probably could work up to that level, and they never did it. So, fuck those guys. All right, everyone. So we are officially running out of time. Catch us next time when we're going to go to Tampa, Florida for the next Tangle in Tampa. We're going to talk about that show in general. Again, one of the early super shows, I guess you would call it. It's going to be live from Tampa, Florida. I don't have a main event for that show yet, but Harley Race will defend the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. Probably, it could be Dusty. It could be Jack Briscoe. It is Florida. So keep that in mind. So